valley of sorrow, where the green is turned to gray. The heart of our village is fading away. The crops have all withered, the gardens turn to dust, and the well, our lifeblood, has given up its trust. The air is so heavy, a silence hangs so deep. For a deeper sorrow, our broken hearts do keep. Oh, the well is dry, a hollow, lonely sound, a bitter lament on this thirsty ground. The fields are like whispers of what used to be, a place lost to darkness for all to see.
The threads of our weaving, they hang from idle hands.
A sickness of spirit across our tired lands. The will to keep hoping has slipped from our hold. A song of sadness, a story to be told. The whispers of the forest no longer are heard, just the sound of our longing in a single lonely word. Oh, the well is dry, a hollow, lonely sound, a bitter lament on this thirsty ground. The fields are like whispers of what used to be, a place lost to darkness for all to see. But I hear a song now, a tune from long ago. It sings of a promise, a place where rivers flow. My hands start to tremble, my feet begin to move, to seek out the answer, a path I must prove. The well is so empty, but my heart is still full. With a quiet courage and a new song to pull. Oh, the well is so empty for now.
Forward. As part of the Anders of Gimli Chronicles tribute project, I decided to create 2 children's stories. The first story is called The Story of a Man Named Anders. It is pretty much simply a straightforward summary of my biography article, A Life Forged in Forgiveness, the biography of Anders Kaselka. The second story in my children's stories about Anders collection is called The Story of Jo. The story of Jo is not so straightforward as the story of a man named Anders. It is a metaphorical story that merges together the information from the biography and the songs about Anders. The story is fairly long and structured in 5 parts, with each part corresponding to the themes of the 5 songs that you will hear later in this podcast and the chronological events of his life. For the purposes of this tribute, the story of Anders, whether or not it is metaphorical as in the story of Jo, begins with the theme of forgiveness, then moves to his youth work, his health struggles, his community contributions, and finally, his reputation within the community. Bill Buckles, September 7th, 2025.
So twisted, the tree stood so tall.
I walked to the mountain to answer a call.
A roar tried to stop me, a sound from despair.
But I held to the music that hung in the air.
A quiet, brave tune in my heart, it did sing a promise of healing, a brand new spring. I found them at the river, the whispers now clear, the seeds of the sunlight to banish all fear. They glow in my hand, a promise held so tight, a gift from the waters, a shiny new light.
I walked to the village through a darkness so deep.
While the tired villagers were fast asleep,
I knelt at the well, a place of no grace.
and planted the seeds to save this sad place. The air grew so heavy with doubt and with scorn, then a golden new feeling began to be born.
the seeds of the light.
The Quiet Heroine and the Valley of Light. The Story of Jo. The well is dry. In a small village nestled deep within a valley, there lived a girl named Jo. She was known for being quiet and solitary, and the villagers often saw her walking by herself, her only companions the old folk songs that she hummed to herself like secrets shared between dear friends. The valley itself had once been a place of rich green fields and a babbling river, but a terrible famine had fallen upon the land. The earth had become as cracked and empty as a bird's nest in winter, and the village's well, once the heart of their community, was completely dry. The air was filled with a constant feeling of emptiness, not just from the lack of water, but from a deeper sorrow that had taken root in the villagers' hearts. Their crops had failed, their gardens had withered into dust, and a quiet sadness had settled over everything, like a pall of gray smoke. Jo felt this sadness more keenly than most, for she understood that the land was not just thirsty for water, but for a lost purpose, a lost sense of life and joy. The village had grown so used to its sorrow that it had begun to feel like a part of them, and this deep despair, more than the physical drought, was the greatest challenge they faced.
The path was so twisted, the trees stood so tall. I walked to the mountain to answer a call.
A roar tried to stop me, a sound from despair, but I held to the music that hung in the air.
A quiet, brave tune in my heart, it did sing a promise of healing, a brand new spring.
I found them at the river, the whispers now clear, the seeds of the sunlight to banish all fear. They glow in my hands, a promise held so tight, a gift from the waters, a shining new light.
I walked to the village through a darkness so deep, while the tired villagers were fast asleep.
I knelt at the well, a place of no grace, and planted the seeds to save this sad place.
The air grew so heavy with doubt and with scorn, then a golden new feeling began to be born.
I found them at the river, the whispers now clear, the seeds of the sunlight to banish all fear. They glow in my hands, a promise held so tight, a gift from the waters, a shining new light. The shadows were melting, the well filled up slow, a gift from the kindness, the courage to go. The songs we had lost are all singing again from the heart of the village, a glorious
valley is singing, the fields are all green. A gentle echo, a beautiful scene. The seeds of the light, the seeds of the light.
The Quiet Heroine and the Valley of Light. The Story of Jo. The well is dry. In a small village nestled deep within a valley, there lived a girl named Jo. She was known for being quiet and solitary, and the villagers often saw her walking by herself, her only companions the old folk songs that she hummed to herself like secrets shared between dear friends. The valley itself had once been a place of rich green fields and a babbling river, but a terrible famine had fallen upon the land. The earth had become as cracked and empty as a bird's nest in winter, and the village's well, once the heart of their community, was completely dry. The air was filled with a constant feeling of emptiness, not just from the lack of water, but from a deeper sorrow that had taken root in the villagers' hearts. Their crops had failed, their gardens had withered into dust, and a quiet sadness had settled over everything, like a pall of gray smoke. Jo felt this sadness more keenly than most, for she understood that the land was not just thirsty for water, but for a lost purpose, a lost sense of life and joy. The village had grown so used to its sorrow that it had begun to feel like a part of them, and this deep despair, more than the physical drought, was the greatest challenge they faced.
In the valley where the wildflowers used to grow, lived a girl named Jo with a heart full of woe. Humming old folk songs just a whisper in the breeze. But now the land's empty and it's brought to its knees. She walked by the river where the laughter once flowed, but the colors have faded and the sadness has showed. Fields once painted green, now cracked and bare, in a village that's longing for a drop of prayer. Oh, the well is dry, ain't no water left to find. The sun beats down hard on the heart and mind. We're praying for rain, but the skies are a lie in this valley of sorrow. Oh, the well is dry. The old tales told of rivers bright and bold. Now the wind's our only friend and the stories are old. The elders sit on porches, their eyes filled with gloom, as the dust swirls around like a slow, mournful tune. Jo feels their pain deeper than the cracks in the earth. She sings to the stars, searching for rebirth. A whisper in the night as she stares at the sky, longing for a miracle, for the well to reply. Oh, the well is dry, ain't no water left to find. The sun beats down hard on the heart and mind. We're praying for rain, but the skies are a lie in this valley of sorrow. like a candle in the dark. Come on, Joe, let's ignite that spark. Together we'll stand and we'll fight for the light. With harmonica tunes we'll make wrongs feel right. For even in longing there's a bond we hold tight. In the face of the drought we'll dance through the night. Oh, the well is dry, but we'll lift our heads high. With every note played we'll reach for the sky. Though the river runs empty, our spirits won't die. In this valley together we'll learn to fly. So here's to each sunrise, a promise we'll make to water the roots and to heal every break. With Joe by my side, we'll create our own tide. 'Cause even when the well is dry, there's still life inside.
The Weaver's Lament. The suffering deepened as a strange sickness, a plague, began to spread through the community. It was not a fever or a cough, but a malady that left the people without the will to work or even to hope. The village's weavers, whose hands were once a blur of motion, now let their spindles hang still. It was as if the invisible threads of life, the very connections that bound them together and to their purpose, had been snipped away. The village had descended into a deeper state of listlessness, with shadows of the heart growing longer with each passing day. The only sound in the long afternoon was the mournful tune of The Weaver's Lament, a song Jo had heard since she was a little girl, now echoing with a painful, immediate truth in her ears. She felt a desperate need to find a way to mend those broken threads and restore the lost vitality of her home.
In a village where laughter used to play, now echoes of sorrow fill up the day. Hands once worked with threads so bright, now they hang still, lost in the night. With her spindles in tow, left in the shadows where the cold winds blow. Life's melody whispers, but it's fading away as the weaver's lament becomes their only stay. Oh, the loom is silent, the colors all gray. Where once there was joy, now the heartbeats sway. Thread by thread, they unravel their song in this village of darkness where it all feels wrong. Oh, Joe, can you hear it? The pain in the air. The weavers are calling.
sickness creeping through the lane. Not fever or cough, just a deep-rooted pain. The will of work lost, the hope it has fled, leaving the village in silence and dread. With each passing day, the shadows grow long, as the Weavers Lament plays a haunting song, weaving invisible threads that bind us as one, now torn and frayed beneath the setting sun. Oh, the loom is silent, the colors all gray. Where once there was joy, now the heartbeats sway. Thread by thread, they unravel their song in this village of darkness, where it all feels wrong. Oh, Joe, can you hear it? The pain in the air. The weavers are calling, their voices despair. Desperation rising like the tide. Jo watches her kin with nowhere to hide. In the alleys of loss, where their dreams ran free, now hides a place that they cannot see. She feels in her heart there's a way to mend the broken connections, the hope they could send. Yet hope's a thin thread, frayed and worn bare. Can she find the courage to lift them from despair? Oh, the Weavers Lament sings the pain of their souls. For the weavers' lost spirit, it is taking its toll. Jo hums to the shadows with a voice so clear, to remind them of love, to conquer their fear. The rhythm of life, you see, must return from the ashes of sorrow. They will learn, unravel the darkness, stitch up the seams with the power of hope and the thread of their dreams. With the strum of the dobro, they find their new tune in the Weavers Lament, the sweet afternoon. From the depths of their struggle, they'll stand side by side, and together in weaving, they'll never divide.
the Whispering Woods. Jo could no longer stand by and watch her community fade away. A quiet bravery began to grow within her, not loud and boisterous, but steady and deep. She knew in her heart that the answer was not to be found in the valley, but somewhere far beyond it. Driven by a desperate hope and guided by the very songs that had been her only friends, she decided to seek the source of the valley's ancient songs. The source of those songs was said to be deep in the dark and foreboding forest that bordered the valley. She felt a nervous tremor in her hands as she stepped onto the twisted path, but she moved forward, listening intently. The other villagers had long ago stopped hearing the world around them, their ears filled with the noise of their own despair. But Jo, who had always been quiet, had learned to listen to the whispers of the wind in the leaves, the soft crunch of dirt under her feet, and the faint, guiding echoes of the old songs. She felt a connection to the world that others had lost, and this profound connection, born of her quiet nature, was the true source of her strength. She realized her journey would not be about fighting some external monster, but about listening to the land's own story.
In the town where silence reigns, echoes of the past like whispers in chains.
Jo stands tall, her heart in a bind,
Watching her dreams fade, left behind.
no more can she wait, no more can she hide.
A quiet bravery swelling inside.
In the shadows of the valley, the songs have grown weak, but Jo hears a melody buried deep.
Though the others
Have lost their way,
her
spirit's a songbird ready to sway.
through the whispering woods,
Where the secrets reside,
we'll chase the echo with hearts open wide. From the valley of shadow to the light of the dawn, together we'll travel with hope as our song. spirits will grow.
In the heart of the woods, where the wildflowers bloom, together they'll flourish, banishing doom.
Jo feels the magic with each gentle sway. The Whispering Woods guiding the way. In the Whispering Woods will forever remain. With courage and love we'll rise up again. Let the songs of the forest bring life to our dreams. Together forever in the soft silver beam.
Echo of the Mountain. Her journey led her to a towering mountain pass where a new challenge awaited. The pass was guarded by a deafening roar that vibrated through the very stones, a sound so loud it seemed designed to make travelers forget their purpose and turn back. It was a terrifying noise, a sound of fury and despair that seemed to mimic the overwhelming sadness of her village. Jo knew she could not simply push through the noise. It was not a physical wall she had to climb, but a test of her inner resolve. She closed her eyes and, in the midst of the thundering sound, focused on the small, quiet tune of the song in her own heart. She remembered the rhythm of "The Well is Dry" and the lament of the weavers. She held on to these simple, familiar notes, and as she did, the mountain's roar began to fade into the background. She found her own quiet center and, with a new and determined focus, was able to discern a faint, almost invisible path that led her onward, a path that was only visible to a mind that was still and listening.
In the shadow of the peak, the challenge starts. A journey through the wild, where nature departs. The echoes whisper stories of those who've gone, but I stand still, listening to my heart's song. Steep, the past blocks the way. A roar rises up in the light of day. It's a thunderous sound, a chilling decree, a powerful force trying to swallow me. But I know this fury, it mirrors my town. Tears in the fabric as the hope weighs down. Hear the echo of the mountain, a lesson in might. Through the storm, through the struggle, I'll find my light. Voices of the ancient
on the little tune that life tried to play. The rhythm of the weavers in the threads of despair. But deep in my core, I know how to care. It's a battle within, a test of my soul, a song of resilience, and it plays on a roll. Hear the echo of the mountain, a lesson in might. Through the storm, through the struggle, I'll find my light. Voices of the ancients, in the chaos they call. In the heart of the thunder, I'll rise above it all. So I breathe in the noise, let it wash over me. In the silence I find all that I can be. Far beyond the din, I see a way clear. With courage in my veins, I'll face every fear. As the mountain roars on, I'm still standing strong. In my heart a melody that will carry me along. The path starts to shimmer, only I can see. A melody crafted from my own melody. I weave through the silence where the echoes reside. With every step forward, I'm breaking the tide. The past in my village, echoing deep, transforms into strength from the voices that weep. Hear the echo of the mountain, a lesson in might. Through the storm, through the struggle, I'll find my light. In the stillness I dance, with the shadows behind. The song in my heart is the treasure I find. So here at the summit, I stand tall and free, embracing the echo and what's left of me. For every roar that's thundered, I've crafted my tune. In the arms of the mountain, I'll rise like the moon.
The Rivers Song. Finally, at the foot of the mountain, she found the source of all the whispers and songs she had followed, a gentle, musical stream that flowed not with a rush, but with a quiet, melodic cadence. The water sang a song that Jo had never heard before. It was a melody of gentle truth, and it told her that her valley's problem was not merely a lack of water, but a lack of light. The shadows of a heart that had afflicted the village were more than just a feeling. They were a real kind of darkness, and it was light that was needed to push them back. As a reward for her quiet courage and her ability to listen, the river gave her a gift, a handful of glistening seeds of light. The water told her that these seeds, planted in the dry earth, would awaken a new dawn. They were not a cure for sickness, but a gift of hope, a tangible promise that life could return. The river's song echoed in her memory as she turned to begin the long journey home, carrying her precious cargo.
Down by the valley where the shadows creep, Joe walked the path, hard and deep, following whispers on the mountain high, searching for truth beneath the wide open sky. With every step, the echoes called her name, a gentle melody, never quite the same. Wind in the willow, soft as a sigh, but deep inside her, she felt the time fly. Song, it flows so free, a melody rich with hope and harmony. In the quiet waters, a truth so bright, the shadows of the heart can find their healing sound, not filled with rush, but a musical flow, calm like the starlight, a warm, gentle glow. Sang of a battle that waged inside a village in darkness their hearts couldn't hide. Yet here in the wasn't the drought, but the light that they'd feel. Oh, the river song, it flows so free, a melody rich with hope and harmony. In the quiet waters, a truth so bright, the shadows of the heart spoke softly in ripples and drops. Plant these seeds of light, let the darkness stop. For in every glimmer a promise is found, new dawn is awakening, spreading around. Shimmering treasures Jo held them so tight, a handful of hope in the softening night. Not just a cure, but a gift to the soul. The seeds of tomorrow, making the village whole. Her heart swelled with courage as she turned for the trail. The river's sweet song forever would sail. With each step back home, the world felt anew. The echoes of the valley rang out like a view. Oh, the river's song, it flows so free, a melody rich with hope and harmony. In the quiet waters, a truth so bright, the shadows of the heart can find their light. So listen closely to the river's soft tune. It whispers a wisdom under the moon. In the valley of shadows, where darkness would tread, the river's song lives on, where the light is spread.
Tide of the Valley. Jo returned to the valley to find that things had grown even worse. A thick tide of darkness had fallen over the community, a literal veil of despair that clung to the air and made it hard to breathe. The villagers were too weak to even ask her where she had been. They had simply given up, their hearts now completely swallowed by the shadows. This was her greatest challenge yet. It was not enough to have a solution. She had to convince them to believe it. Her bravery on the mountain had been a private victory, but this was a communal test. The valley was silent, and the stillness was a heavy weight on her shoulders.
Jo returned to the valley where shadows grew tall, a tide of darkness, a sorrowful call. The streets were silent, hope buried deep, hearts heavy with burdens, no dreams left to keep.
Once a place of laughter, now wrapped in despair. The villagers' spirits vanished, just ghosts in the air.
Trepidation tangled
like vines in the night. She knew in her heart she had to ignite the light.
Oh, the tide of the valley, it pulls us down low, but Jo's got some seeds, a flicker to show. echoed through the crowd. Faces worn and weary, all draped in a shroud. But Jo stood strong, her voice steady and clear. The light that we've lost, my friends, we can steer.
These seeds of light shine with power within. Let's nurture them gently, let the healing begin.
Hands trembling in prayer, the villagers stared, uncertain and restless. Hope felt so rare. Oh, the tide of the valley, it pulls us down low. But Jo's got some seeds, a flicker to show. With love in her hands, she kneels by the well, a beacon of hope, breaking through the shell. Underneath the shadows, she planted them deep in this barren soil. Her hope's not to sweep. Look close, my dear friends, a change on the rise. From the darkness we struggle, new light can arise.
An ember ignited in hearts once so cold, their spirits rekindle like stories retold.
The ground trembled softly as if it could hear each seed whispering promises, driving out fear. Oh, the tide of the valley, it pulls us down low. But Jo's got some seeds, a flicker to show. With love in her hands, she kneels by the well, a beacon of hope, breaking through the shell. So let us remember, in darkness we face, in the depths of despair, there's always a place with seeds of light sown. Together we'll stand. Jo taught us a story of hope, hand in hand.
The Sun's Embrace. With the seeds of light held tight in her hands, Jo walked to the center of the village and stood beside the empty well. The villagers, roused from their stupor by her presence, gathered around, their faces full of doubt and exhaustion. The air felt heavy with their skepticism. With a deep breath, Jo knelt down and planted the glowing seeds in the cracked earth at the bottom of the well. At first, nothing happened. A few villagers began to turn away, their shoulders slumped in defeat. But then a soft, golden light began to emanate from the ground where the seeds were planted. The light grew, pushing back the tide of darkness that had swallowed the valley. As the light from the seeds bathed the valley, a subtle but profound change began. The shadows of despair melted away like morning mist, and a faint murmur of hope began to ripple through the crowd. Slowly at first, and then with a gentle, growing force, the well began to fill. It did not gush with water, but filled gradually, as if the land itself was taking a long, quenching drink. The light from the seed spread, and soon the entire valley was bathed in a new, warm glow, a true sun's embrace that signaled the end of the famine and the beginning of a new, brighter chapter.
In a village lost in doubt where the shadows lay, a girl named Jo held the seeds of light today.
Her hands were trembling, but her heart was bold.
With a flicker of hope, a story to be told.
Gather round, villagers, don't turn away. These seeds in her hands can guide us to the day.
Through the cracks of despair, let's dare to believe we can rise from the darkness if only we cleave. It's the sun's embrace, shining through our strife. With a glow of promise, we can reclaim our life. The tide of darkness, let it fade away. In the warmth of the light, let's find a way.
Jo knelt by the well with a crackled ground
And planted those seeds, though the air felt so brown.
Hope was a whisper suspended in time.
But she dreamt of a future, a place so sublime.
A hush fell upon us, we held our breath tight.
Nothing but silence, but we waited for the light.
Then golden beams flickered right where they lay.
Pushing back shadows and the darkness away. It's the sun's embrace, shining through our strife. With a glow of promise, we can reclaim our life. The tide of darkness, let it fade away. In the warmth of the light, let's find a way. Can you feel it rising, that soft glowing fire?
The doubts we were holding tossed away like a lyre.
One by one we're moving, embracing the dawn. With every drop of water, all our fears are gone.
The well, it starts filling with each golden ray.
Hope's gentle whisper, leading us to stay.
Tides of despair, hear them fading fast.
In the sun's embrace, we're breaking free at last. So let's stand together in this valley so wide.
With the seeds we planted, we can take back our pride.
Through the light of the future, our spirits entwine. From the ashes of darkness, our hearts redefine. It's the sun's embrace, shining through our strife. With a glow of promise, we can reclaim our life. The tide of darkness, let it fade away. In the warmth of the light, let's find a way.
Jo's laughter echoes as the well overflows.
In the light of our love, we'll see how it
the flames.
A gentle echo. The valley flourished again. The fields were green, the crops were bountiful, and the village bustled with life. The well, which had once been a symbol of their despair, was now a living symbol of bravery and the power of hope. The villagers celebrated Jo, but not with a loud fanfare or a boisterous feast. Instead, their gratitude was quiet and profound. They knew her strength was not loud but gentle, and her deeds were a quiet force for good. Jo was no longer a solitary girl. She was a cherished part of her community, but her essence remained that of a quiet force. Her story was not shouted from the rooftops, but was passed down like a whispered secret, a gentle echo of courage and resilience. The songs that had been her only friends were now sung by everyone, and in their shared melodies, the valley found a way to remember that even in the darkest times, all that is needed to find the way is the quiet strength to listen.
In the valley where the shadows used to creep, now green fields arise, in silence they speak. Crops standing tall, like dreams come alive. A well of hope flows deep and thrives. Jo was the girl who stood so strong, with a heart full of courage. She sang her song in the whispers of leaves, in the rustle of trees. Her spirit a breeze, dancing with ease. Oh, a gentle echo, it calls through the night. Soft are the whispers carrying our light. Jo's quiet strength, like a river it'll flow. In the heart of the valley, we find our way home.
The village is bustling with laughter we share. No grand celebrations, just love in the air. For the girl who brought change with her simple grace, in the quietest moments, we found our place.
Her story's not loud, but it resonates true, like a melody sweet that we all grew into. With hands intertwined, we'll sing what we see. Jo's legacy woven in our harmony. Oh, a gentle echo, it calls through the night. Soft are the whispers carrying our light.
villagers rallied, no price to be paid for the gift of her courage. It lingers like gold in the heart of each story, her spirit's retold. No fanfare was needed, no clang of the bells, just whispers of strength that the valley compels. Through the shadows and fears, we will rise and we'll climb, for Jo taught us all how to stand the test of time. Like a river it'll flow in the heart of the valley. We find our way home. So let the world know, let the stories be spread of a girl with a spirit like waves on the red. Our vow. So here's to Jo, to her quiet refrain, in hearts of the village, her light will remain. With songs that we sing, let them carry her name. A gentle echo in love's sweet embrace.